Here's another morsel of true-life irony regarding Scarlet Street. The paintings you see in the film did receive an exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in Manhattan, but they were credited to their actual creator, legendary Hollywood painter and caricaturist John Decker. And I don't use the term legendary loosely. Decker, who was born in Berlin and served prison time in England for allegedly being a spy, led an extraordinary life that truly was the stuff of legend. He landed in Hollywood in the late 20s and basically bartered his artwork for food and drink throughout the 1930s, eventually falling in with a cadre of hellraisers known as the Bundy Drive Boys, of which Errol Flynn, W.C. Fields, Thomas Mitchell, Roland Young, Anthony Quinn, and John Carradine were standing members. Barely standing members, given their alcohol consumption. In addition to earning commissions painting faux Rembrandt-style portraits of Hollywood stars, Decker sidelined as a first-class art forger, with several of his bogus masterpieces, including a phony Picasso, allegedly hanging in various museums around America. When Fritz Lang hired Decker to produce a group of paintings in an American primitive style, the artist no doubt hit the mineral spirits as much as the oil paints, churning out more than a dozen canvases. Decker's work is also featured in two other noir films, Brute Force and The Two Mrs. Carrolls. Hard drinking took its toll on Decker, who died in 1947 at the age of 51. Regular watchers of TCM are probably wondering how this film got past the production code. After all, Chris Cross is not technically punished for committing murder, something mandatory in films of the era. Both Wanger and Lang have spoken of the lengths they went to convincing Hollywood's chief censor, Joe Breen, that despite the wrong man being executed for the crime, Kitty Marsh's killer suffered an even worse punishment. Amazingly, the morality police, for once, understood the notion of poetic justice. The murder itself, however, was the subject of state-by-state censorship, as various versions had Chris stabbing Kitty 3 times, or as in Lang's initial cut, 7 times. Credit Walter Wanger for ensuring the film wasn't decimated by various state censors. New York banned the film outright for its low moral tone, leading Wanger to battle with the state's chief censor to keep intact the film's most provocative moments. And once New York approved the film, censors in other states lifted their bans. Thanks to all the publicity this generated, Scarlet Street enjoyed box office success. Of course, I have to mention the contribution of one of the great supporting villains of the era. No, not Dan Duryea, whom Noir Alley fans know quite well. I'm talking about British actress Rosalind Ivan. The previous year, she'd played a similarly shrewish harridan to Charles Laughton's henpecked husband in The Suspect. She was so monstrous, audiences cheered her murder. After Scarlet Street, she was known in Hollywood as Ivan the Terrible, although she took the edge off that persona with wonderful character roles opposite Sidney Greenstreet and Peter Lorre in Three Strangers and The Verdict. Ivan was 65 years old when she made Scarlet Street, having been born in London prior to the birth of movies. She made 14 films in Hollywood between 1944 and 54, spending most of her career from the time she was a teenager on the British stage. Okay, check in with other noiristas on the Noir Alley Facebook page and Twitter feed, and join me again next week for a mid-50s heist movie featuring some of the oldest college students you'll ever see trying to rob a Reno casino. 5 Against the House also features Kim Novak in one of her first film roles. It's no Scarlet Street, but it's fun. Until then, paint it black.